Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, September 4th. Yes, I realize this segment is Missionary Mondays, and today is Wednesday. Sorry about that. Nonetheless, we are going to continue right now. Let me tell you about the third coast. All right, welcome back. As you can see, I have my headphones with my microphone. Today, I'm trying to cut down on some of the background noise. We have a little bit of construction going on. So that bong, bong, bong sound you hear is the guys are breaking apart concrete with a big metal bar. I promise you, we're not beating the kids in the background. So that's about it. And the topic for today's video is, what do you do when you hit the wall? Okay, so I assume that most people understand what you mean by when you hit the wall. But for those that don't, we're not talking about literally hitting a wall. It's just when you get up and you just have, I don't know, bad day. I don't. It's there's a million reasons why it's gonna happen, but when you hit the wall, it's just saying that like you're done. You can't go on. You can't go past it because you keep hitting the wall. So something is physically blocking you, or mentally, psychologically, emotionally blocking you from continuing with what you want to do. And if you're following this, most likely you are thinking about or are a missionary. But this is common in everything, in your work life, personal life, relationships, anything that you're doing. If you're following your dreams and your passions, there's going to be a day when you hit the wall. So when you hit the wall, what do you do? All right. So before we can address what do you do, we need to address like what happened. like, like I said before, there's a million things that can happen, and if you're a believer, you know that this is a fallen world, and things are going to happen. And the Bible tells you you will have bad days, you will have problems. Believe that. If you think that this won't happen to you, just wait, just wait. Especially if you're doing something good. If you're doing something good and spreading the gospel and showing people God's love, the enemy is going to try to block you. The enemy doesn't want people to know about that. The enemy has already been defeated. The only way he can try to win a battle is if he makes your day miserable and keeps you from helping other people come to see God's love. So, like I said, if you don't think this is going to happen to you, you're wrong. Stick around because it will. It happens to everybody at some point. All right, so now that we understand it will inevitably happen, you don't know when, it will happen. And I want to say for me, one of the first times that it happened, the first times that I felt like, ooh, like I'm away from my family, like I'm in the middle of nowhere, I'm off on my own, was I was talking to my brother and my sister in law on a video chat, and my nephew Oliver was playing, and he was like, "Hey, Uncle Brian, um, after work today, can you come play soccer with me?" I was like, "Oh man, I can't. I'm not there. I can't do that." And he understands, like, but he thinks that I'm still in the United States and just in a different city. So then he goes, "Well, you have to come to my birthday party this weekend." And like, I just felt my heart crack just a little bit. And I heard my brother in the background go, "Ooh." And I was just like, I'd love to, but I'm down here in Nicaragua. I can't make the flight back. And he's a little kid, not a little kid, he's a young kid. And he was just like, "Okay, Uncle Brian, well, I'll see you later." And I was like, "Yes, you will see me later." So that was one of the first times where I was kind of like, "Ooh," you know. So in this moment, you have a choice. It's gonna happen. Like that was the first time I felt homesick. You will feel homesick eventually. I'm usually so busy that I don't have to worry about it, but in this moment, I actually had time to talk. And so what I did was, I just had to focus on why I was here, and the why for you being where you are and doing what you do is very important. And that is something that we're going to address. So, as I just mentioned, the why for where you are and what you're doing is very important. And in one of my classes, so if you don't know, little side story, I teach 4 English classes and I teach an AEP class, which is kind of like a business and entrepreneurial class and life skills. And one of the guys that I show a lot of videos of and try to translate is Eric Thomas. And he talks about this concept, the why. The why are you doing what you're doing? The why is what is going to push you. And so in those moments where you just feel like you're against that wall and you can't go forward, if the why is you, if you are your why, you're going to quit. You will quit on yourself. You need to have a stronger why. It needs to be about something or someone bigger than yourself. And for instance, the why for me, for why I'm here, and when I have hard days, and when I have hard days in the classroom, and I just feel like I taught like crap and was like the worst teacher ever, I think about the 2 girls that I met that were taking English classes, and they told me, we want better jobs for our families. And you're talking about in a country where if you don't have a job, it's not like the U.S. You just go get a job. It's very difficult here. So when times are bad, I think about both of them, and they're like, we need better jobs for our family, and we can only do that by learning English. So those were the two young women that I met in Revis with my first trip here in 2017. And besides just those 2, like that's good. Like I think about them and I'm like, that's why I got to wake up in the morning. That's why I got to prepare my lessons. That's why I got to do all my grades. That's why I have notebooks full of notes and plans and ideas and all that. And then at the end of the day, I have to think about my students. Like when people ask me political stuff or try to get me involved, it's my why for being here is to serve my students, to help my students. And if I do something that could get me sent away from here back home, I'm failing these kids. So when I say my students, I think right now I have about 80 students, I want to say, and combined in all 5 of my classes. So every day that I'm just like, man, I can't do it. I think about those 80 students and how if I don't get up and drag my butt to the classroom and plan and give them an authentic, sincere class, that I've failed those 80 students and possibly have robbed them of their education. So for me, that's my why. Yours is going to be different. Maybe you're a teacher. I don't know what you're doing. I'd love to know. Drop a line in the comment. Tell me what you're doing because I love hearing about what people are doing. So what you need to do is you need to find your why, and you need to think about that every time. Every time you have a bad day. If you had a bad morning, you know what? I can't do this in front of the kids. I gotta be like, you know what? I had a bad day. I'm a man up. I'm gonna go teach these kids. And that's for me. Like if you're doing something else, you're doing a medical one, man, you're out there, you got to save these kids' lives. You got to save these people's lives. You don't have time to have a bad day. You need to think about people that are dying, and all the bad things in the world. You got to find a why that's bigger than you. If it's your why is you're doing this for the wrong reason, and you will not be able to get past it when you hit that wall. You will quit on you. But it takes a special kind of bad for you to quit on someone else. When someone else is dependent on you and you quit on that person, man, that's a special kind of bad. And you're not going to do that. So that's why your why has to be bigger than you. All right. So in a nutshell, there it is, man. When you hit that wall, and you will, and if you don't think you will, pride comes before the fall. And when you fall, you're going to fall right into that wall. So how you get past that is your why. And your why has to be bigger than you. It has to be, or you will not make it. All right, so thanks for sticking with me through the video. What do you do when you hit the wall? And the answer is you need to know your why. Why are you there? Why are you doing what you're doing? And as I mentioned earlier, this applies in all facets and areas of your life, not just as a missionary. And if you're having a hard time with this concept and you're not really sure why, I really recommend following Eric Thomas on YouTube. I'm sure he's got other social medias, but I just catch his videos on YouTube. I believe his channel is E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. He's got sermons. He's got things on marriage. He's got motivational videos. He's all over the place, top in the world. It's got a lot of good information. So as I mentioned, know your why, and that will help you get through those moments when you feel like you cannot take another step forward. And like I said, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And right now I'm going to show you some pictures of my students so you can see my why. Adios.